What's your handle on the Starlet message board?
Oh, Jackson May I? Kind of a play on Jackson Maine.
Sure, yeah. Oh, it's great. Mine's Jackson Maine Squeeze.
That's right. Couple of starlets. Talking shop.
When you leave here, you have to take half of everything.
Are we getting divorced?
No, but I just run it out of my house.
Whew. Boy, I thought we were having a podcast divorce and we had to split up the candy.
Let's face it, those are the only assets from this podcast.
I think we're in with Joe. I think we can get this intel. Also,
what's Joe's last name begin with?
S.
Jason. Joe's son. I was hoping it would be B, because I was going to call him like Jobo.
Oh, J-Bo.
J-Bo, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he likes that.
He looks in his 50s or 60s. I can't imagine he'd enjoy that.
Love that song. Can't get enough of the Malt Shop Bop. Did I ever tell you that on the side gig, I think I told you at the end of the year, somebody sent a recap video of our entire year.
Oh, no.
Of, at the end of the video podcast that we do every day, segment 17.
Sure.
We do facts of the day. For every one that you get right, you get a fact point. So we turned it into a competition a couple years ago. So
okay.
We have various listeners who listen to segment 17 every day and keep score. We don't keep score, they keep score.
Right.
Then at the end of the year, they all send us their scorecards, and we go over who won fact points for that year.
Oh.
Well, somebody made a yearly recap video that was 8 minutes long, and they used Malt Shop Bop as the bed that played throughout the whole...
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy. Can't help stealing from us, can they?
That was...
I know it was listener made, but the point still stands. There's a running track record of those guys over there, like thieves in the night, from this podcast on a somewhat regular basis.
I'm actually searching the email right now because I know that because as soon as we started playing it, I was like, this is weird. This has to be a reference to the podcast. And then somebody emailed in and they said, oh no, that was 100% a way for you to plug the podcast on the side gig.
Perfect, because I meant to ask you, it's been a little while, but I wanted to see if the quickly sixly that they talked about, is that still happening?
The term Fast Five was used the other day. When somebody did very well on Dumber Than the Show trivia, Free Beer said something like, no, that is a Fast Five right there.
Yes, it is, Free Beer. Yes, it is. And I kindly ask you stay in your lane.
Oh, this was... Okay, so I want to give credit to the guy who produced that video. That was Tom Mitchmerheisen. Mitchmerheisen. And he said the music wasn't a coincidence, was indeed a shout-out for your side gig.
There we go,
Well done, Tom. Thank you. Sorry,
thank you, Tom.
Sorry it's taken me 1 month to the day since you sent that email.
You think that's the biggest platform Kevin MacLeod's been played on?
No. It wasn't, because that wasn't played on... If it was played on the air, then maybe. But it was just during the podcast.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
But yeah, thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Anytime you can email the show with a topic that we're talking about on the radio show.
Yeah.
Drop in a Steve and Kyle reference.
Ooh.
Greatly appreciated. Because, Free Beer, he's like Burgundy. He'll read pretty much anything.
Yeah, he'll just go straight down the... Yeah.
So if you email or text, greatly appreciated. Thank you.
That's awesome. I saw you had a live show. Was that last week?
Yeah,
no, it wasn't this past weekend.
Nope,
but we didn't talk about it.
Week before that. No, I think we did. We briefly mentioned because you asked if anyone showed up.
That's right.
The gear. with Steve and Kyle gear. I can't say no because I didn't see everybody. I didn't see anyone at the morning show with a shirt on or anything like that, or maybe a knapsack. Still looking for somebody to show up with the leggings or the mini skirt. Really disappointed in that.
I'm pretty sure we've made zero sales based on that.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
But important to mention, it hasn't been talked about on the podcast. I've been waiting to promote it on social media, but I know Philip did. He finished, sent over his newest design for us that I requested a while ago, colorized and everything, uploaded now officially on Redbubble, so be sure to check that out, SteveandKyle.com/merch. Go there right now. It's an homage to Calvin and Hobbes, an iconic post from Calvin and Hobbes. Steve,
now, is that safe to say your favorite comic of favorite characters of all time?
Yeah.
I know nothing about Calvin and Hobbes.
Read them when I was young, and they hold up. It's not, it's really written for more mature people, because it's a 6-year-old who's not exactly soft-spoken, but he's talking about essentially things going on in the world using a vocabulary and other things that a 6-year-old would never use, and that's what makes it humorous, obviously, in addition to his pet tiger that is...
which one's which? Who's
Calvin's the boy, Hobbes is the tiger.
Okay,
Hobbes is the tiger. And
so in the illustration that Philip did, who's who?
I am Calvin.
So I'm the tiger.
You're Tiger.
Nice.
You're Tiger Hobbes. So yeah.
Right.
Again, be sure to check that design out. I uploaded it. I'm actually going to be uploading one more. It will be posted before this episode's even released, so be sure to check that out. SteveandKyle.com/merch.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it if you pick up some merch. Always tweet at us, #GarbageGifts.
Yeah.
Picture of you either wearing the shirt or with the stickers or anything.
A lot of stuff on there.
Again, mini skirts and leggings, front of the line. You get mentioned at the top of every podcast.
Yeah. And we purposely kept that. And we're not here to plug our merch store. It's there for fun and for people who think it's cool to wear that stuff, and they can wear it to the side gig live shows. But
that's basically the main purpose for the merch store.
Yeah,
is 100% to rub it in the face of my coworkers.
Yeah, right.
When we're at live shows, I want them. But the funny thing is, because we have 20, probably 15 different designs.
We have a lot, on
the merch store. There's never you never look at it. There's so many different designs that it's not like we have one logo and everybody wears that one logo. Like at the Portland live show that we were at last month, there were, let's see, Nikki alone had she had a Piano Pals hoodie, and it was the Piano Pals hoodie, but then she had a different t-shirt on, and I think her daughter had one on too, and the guy a few before them in line had the drawstring bag, so everything looks different, so they never really notice it. So I always had to be like, hey, check out that bag over there. Yeah, that's right, Steve and Kyle bag.
Yeah, no big deal.
I don't know if you saw that. NBD.
We have purposely kept those prices literally almost as low as possible. I think people would be really surprised compared to how many items we sold as to how much is in our PayPal business account.
Yeah,
it's extraordinarily low, and we did that for a reason. We're not here. We're not financing this operation through our merch store. Again, it's there for fun. At some point, the only reason I feel bad is for Philip, and I messaged him this last week because this man has labored making us just gorgeous designs. He's responsible for the newest Calvin and Hobbes homage, Steve. Yet it's like pennies. It's worthless. I feel awful.
I think at this point we the reason that we haven't because we have a deal with Philip, any of his designs that get sold, he gets a percentage of that. It's such a low amount that we would have paid him so far. That's why? Let's just wait until it gets to I don't know, $40 or something. So when we send it to him, it's at least worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him his incredibly small paycheck here, just so I don't feel worse anymore. But he's got a few more coming down the pipe as well. He told me that he is
send somebody a shirt too.
Yes, you do. Carl Furrow, you have to send a shirt for buying the web stuff. Okay. I think you can link that to our PayPal, though, and just ship it right to them.
Yeah. Do we have any money in the PayPal account?
God, I hope so. I haven't used it. Have you used it?
I haven't used it. Not since we sent out 50 T-shirts.
We've been waiting for the big break, for the golden shovel to make its first move into the APS 4.0 as we break ground to dig into the old PayPal savings.
I did go in there this week. I put a piece of wood in there.
Hey,
that I was
you're putting junk in there.
Yeah, I was tired of looking at in the other room. By the way, it's Sunday, January 20th, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve & Kyle podcast. Speaking of this basement, would you be all right with taking we have to take a little field trip down the hallway.
Is that so?
Yeah, I had to send a series of texts yesterday to 2 people I know asking for their expertise.
Okay. So you went to your DIY or your construction people that you know, which is kind of upsetting you didn't that I wasn't on.
I know.
Was I number 3 then?
You were. I mean, the only reason I didn't shoot you a text is because I got answers
on the first 2
from both of them.
Okay.
Both the same answer, and both saying, please stop what you're doing.
Would it give it away if you asked me the question and I told you what I would have said?
The question was, I sent them a picture and said, what in this picture will shock/kill me if I touch it? And both of their replies were, don't do that. Just, no, wait, I'll help you out. Just leave it alone.
Okay.
Stop touching that. So if you want to take a quick run down the hallway.
Yeah, sure. We're going to walk down to... Now, is this the same room that you spent the amount of time, cleaning instead of starting on the APS 4.0? This is the room that you cleaned out to get your workbench and everything in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure is.
All right, let's go take a look.
So let's go.
All right. Well,
what'd you think?
In my expertise, Steve, you're in a real pickle.
Again, this is a text that I sent to 2 people I know, both electricians, both by coincidence named Chris.
Yeah.
Took a picture of something and said, what in here? It was a picture of my electrical panel. I said, what in here will kill me or shock me? And both of them replied, no, just walk away, back up, that you are beyond yourself, friend. You will kill yourself if you touch about 80% of the stuff that's in there.
There's some loose wires.
There's a couple.
My recommendation to you was...
Yeah, you tell me what to do. I'll go in there and do it right now.
Well, I noticed, so it's a breaker box.
Yeah.
They got a black wire that goes into all these breakers, or in all these individual ones.
That's the hot wire.
The hot wire? The black's hot?
Black's hot, white's neutral, and then the copper one's
You don't
brown.
worry about that.
No.
You don't worry about the neutral.
Neutral, yeah. It's like Switzerland.
You snip that at the bottom, throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. Maybe put some electrical tape around it.
Yeah. But the hot wire, Steve, I noticed one of the individual didn't have a hot wire in it. I think you go in there, you zip that one right in.
Just right in.
Tighten it down. Maybe flip it a few times to see what it controls.
While holding on to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one way to find out what it controls, and that's by, grab and hold and giving it a few jiggles.
Yeah.
You're going to want to do that. Why did you dance with electrical?
I built that nice little room down there, but it had no outlets in it, or it had one outlet.
Sure.
And so Cy Nolan Ryan Young, your friend and mine, championship softball pitcher, stopped by because I said, hey, I want to put a couple more outlets in here, and he's an electrician, so he gave me his input. He's like, all right, this one outlet that you have here, we'll switch that one out, and then off of that, you can then daisy chain more outlets.
Sure.
I'm like, cool. I've put in outlets before. I've done that a bunch of times. So I took care of putting up all of the other outlets around the room.
Right.
But the part that I just wasn't sure about, all those other outlets, they're all wired up. They're all ready to go. They just need to be tied into the panel. And that's the only thing I've never done before.
Right.
So he had said, during the week, he's like, yeah, you get everything else done. I can stop by sometime this weekend, and I'll hook it up to the panel. You'll be good to go. I'm like, all right, cool. And then last night, I just got antsy, and I was like, I could probably figure this out. I know what I'm doing. So I know where all those, there's 3 wires. I know where they have to go, but I don't know what will kill me. So I figured, just shoot him a text. Hey, man, is this going to kill me? Yes. Okay, cool. Well, back away.
Well, so now you're terrified to even look at it long.
Yeah. So now the box panel still has no cover on it, just wires hanging out of it. So he sent me a text a little while ago. He's like, did you ever finish that electrical? I was like, hell no. No, I'm terrified of it.
Told me not to touch it. I didn't want it to.
He's like, all right, I'll stop by. Stop by at 12:15. I'll help you out with it. Okay, no problem, man. It's all yours.
All right.
So
you're getting that remedied today, so you're going to have...
Getting that remedied.
This is going to be like APS 2.0, where we built it and you put, 36 outlets in there.
That was a 63 square foot room, and it had 16 outlets in it. Because if you're going to put any outlets in, if you're going to put in one, you may as well put in 2. There were at least a dozen outlets in that room that never got used. Just never. There were 4 outlets behind the TV.
There were never more than 2 people in that room.
Right. Now, in my defense, all of this stuff here on the countertop, this requires probably 4, maybe 5 plugs total. So I put the double outlets underneath our countertop, which was, I think, totally justified. But, all the other ones, that was kind of stupid. But hey.
You couldn't help yourself.
Oh boy. Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Is this news
Hold on.
Hang on. I'm not ready for this at all.
I don't think... No, I think I... Oh, no, I want this one. There it is.
There it is.
Live from APS 4.0, breaking news about Steve possibly selling a Jeep today. And I hit the post. Hit both posts perfectly.
Whoa, everybody. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Steve's Jeep still on the market.
Still sitting in the aforementioned Cy Nolan Ryan Young's grandmother's garage on the other side of town, collecting dust.
You told me today you may have a prospective purchase, but that was all the details I was clued in on.
Yes, it's been posted on, I think, Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist for the last couple months.
Sure.
Haven't even renewed. I think on Craigslist I renewed the post a couple of times. But a couple of weeks ago, I thought, let me put it up on eBay. Doesn't cost you anything to put it on eBay.
Right.
If it doesn't sell, it doesn't cost you anything. So I've posted it up there for a week, didn't sell. I just said, well, screw it. I'm just going to keep relisting it because what's the worst that could happen?
Oh, obviously.
So I just hit relist.
Re-up and relist.
Okay. So I think I've done that two or 3 times. And then I got a message last night from a guy who saw it on eBay, lives in this area, and wants to come and look at it. So he's going to come and look at it in 3.5 hours.
So this afternoon. Now, you have obviously the price has been listed on, you said eBay, right? Mm-hmm. He knows, he's seen when the car was listed.
I think he can see the most recent time it was listed. I don't know if it will show you it's been listed 5 times or 10 times.
Because I feel like that's a tactic, right? He sees this car's been listed, whatever.
Sure.
You guys may be desperate.
Maybe.
Decides, I'm going to go in there, offer him,
pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. See if I can get a eBay best offer at 55% of the listed price.
Yeah.
And if not, he's in the area anyway, so he's not out anything.
Look, man, I will follow any lead that we get right now. This is a lead. It's not an inconvenience to drive over there and and pull the thing out of the garage.
You just have to bother Cy Nolan Ryan Young's grandmother Sunday afternoon.
Well, that's more of an inconvenience.
-3 degrees.
I mean, that could be an inconvenience for him. Yeah, it is insanely cold today, isn't it?
That's fine. I'm sure women her age and people her age, I'm sure.
Well, she doesn't have to. It's not like she's going to help us, jack the car up and change the oil or anything.
Fine. I mean, it's It's not an inconvenience at all.
I don't. Yeah. Well, again, that's on Cy. This part of it is Cy's deal. So I'll let him deal with disgruntled grandmother.
Boy, Second Chance Jeeps seems like it's in a good place.
Second Chance Jeeps needs a second chance. We need a second chance at selling this.
You just need like a full reboot. You know, you're like the Spider-Man series, and you guys, hey, that's it. We need to just forget the past, retcon it, start over.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like Roseanne did.
Yeah,
we see how well that worked out for that reboot.
Yeah. And you kill the lead character. So you and or Chris
will have to die.
In
order for Second Chance Jeeps to live. I mean, it is like my baby.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's the only way this could succeed. So the Jeep today being
showed... if it gets sold today and I got my money back today, I'd be so happy. I'd be so thrilled. Because at this point, it's been so long. That's 6 months.
You've forgotten about the money,
That is
right?
Free money.
Yeah.
It's free money at this point. I've won the lottery. I would like to say, now I can build that pole building in the backyard, but that's on hold indefinitely.
Now, how long do you think it takes? Now, this person comes by this afternoon, meet him there, you shake hands. I'm Steve from Steve and Kyle Podcast.
I'm going to be wearing my Steve and Kyle windbreaker.
I'm Cy Nolan Ryan Young from the Team Remax Low Pitch Softball Champions.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll see if Cy can wear his championship T-shirt.
So you have your introductions.
Yeah.
How long into this before you can kind of tell that either this guy or this person, I don't know if it's a guy, I have no idea who it is going to be legitimate or is just there to kind of like, maybe kick really like lowball you. Yeah, like is it where he's starting to like close the door and go, I don't feel like I have a good sense for that. Like that's why I'd be a terrible car dealer. Right.
I wouldn't be a good car salesman at all because I don't know. I assume because in my mind I look at it from my perspective. If I'm contacting somebody and I want to go over and look at a vehicle that's not a $200 vehicle that it's like, yeah, here, what the heck, take the cash. It's a major purchase. It's a vehicle. It's a full price vehicle.
Yeah.
I feel as though you should be serious. That's how I feel. I'm not going to if I am like interested in buying a brand new Corvette but I don't have the money for it.
Sure.
Everybody loves to dream. Everybody loves to go online and be like, oh, look at that. That would be a sweet Corvette to own. But I'm not going to call the guy and be like, hey, man, can I come over and look at it if I have no intention of buying it? If it's like a $80,000 Corvette, I may drool at it as I drive past it and see it sitting on the corner, but I'm not going to call the guy and waste his time and my time. So that being said, I have no idea what this person's intentions are. And there's really no way to gauge it. What am I going to send him a message and say, so are you like serious or are you just a tire kicker? I guess I could.
Well, I didn't know if you'd be able to kind of spot that, or maybe, maybe he's, like I said, he's opening and closing a door, something stupid, checking the bag. Like you just hear,
Oh, it's that. It's got that, huh?
Oh, it's not. You get the upgraded, speakers. No.
But the good thing is, I do have a couple options in my back pocket that we can throw in.
Okay.
That wouldn't add any expense to our side of it, but would be an upside for him.
You giving away our merch?
Yeah, box of shirts in the back.
What's that?
He'll be like, oh, cool. Ballast.
Out of curiosity, and obviously,
it's the equivalent of sandbags in a pickup truck during the winter. Here, sir, these Steve and Kyle hoodies will keep you from sliding around the corners.
Without giving away everything, Steve, like what kind of stuff do you have in the back pocket? If he's kind of waffling, you got your price point.
Yeah,
maybe you're willing. You maybe you come down as far as you are, but let's say you're, I don't know, $750 off to where he's just not comfortable going higher. You guys don't want to go any lower.
I have the radio that's in it. Mm-hmm. It's a nice like touch screen radio, really nice, but it doesn't have Bluetooth and it doesn't have GPS. I have a radio that I could put in there that has both of those options, so that's couple $100.
Sure.
And then there are a few other parts that if you're a Jeep guy, you probably want these parts.
Okay. Nothing like an extra top or anything absurd.
No.
That's obviously much more expensive that you'd sell separately,
no,
right?
I'm talking like a couple parts that a few $100 a piece that we were fortunate enough to get really good deals on it.
Sure.
Back in the summer when we were redoing it, and they've just been sitting in my attic since then. So it would kind of be nice to get rid of them. We don't have any money into them. It all kind of gets rolled into the cost, and everyone's happy.
So you've got, worst case scenario or best case scenario. You guys meet at a price point. He says, I'm happy. You guys say you're happy. You shake on it. You sell that. You're then left with a stereo, some other specific Jeep parts. Those get kind of thrown into the Steve Woods back there with that old deck and a lawnmower.
No, not into the woods. Again, all in the attic right now.
That's where they
everything's
stay?
in the attic. Yeah, I have a couple of big plastic like Tupperware totes that I picked up at Home Depot, and they just have all the miscellaneous stuff, because there is the stuff that we kept was all of the stuff that we had a really difficult time finding when we were looking for it. So I managed to find them all after the fact.
Sure.
And figured, I'm going to hold on to this, so if we do another one of these down the road, these are the similar parts I'm going to need. So I held on to it.
So in your mind...
This is happening again.
Second Chance Jeeps lives.
Second Chance Jeeps lives. We are 2 Jeeps in. Okay.
One was for you.
Including mine, yeah.
And the other one hasn't sold
Right.
in 6 months.
Our mission statement may need to be altered a bit. Our business plan, probably not the most solid. But I still feel this is a successful endeavor.
What was the business statement? Like flipping Jeeps, high-fiving, or five and highs?
Flipping Jeeps on the cheaps.
Hey, over here at Second Chance Jeeps, we got one thing in mind. Flipping Jeeps, counting We're flipping Jeeps, counting stacks. Bring us your Jeep restoration projects today. Just ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, I think it's ill-advised.
You think what is ill-advised?
Continuing.
Continuing, okay. All right. We did go and look at a couple of
you idiot. You haven't even recouped your money
I know.
from the first one, and you're already looking at the next one, thinking this was such a wild success beyond our imagination. I mean, the only thing you could say to each other after this experience would be, well, it can't go this poorly twice, can it?
Yeah, it's been a rough go.
I want that sound said.
I'm not going to let that, I'm not going to let that scare me off, though.
I want that sound I just said played back in about 9 calendar months, when you're now in possession of 2 Jeeps in Chris's grandmother's garage.
No.
Because you're at this point...
It's going to sell. It's going to sell by spring at the latest.
At this point, you're Madoffing it.
Pull this audio. I'm going to... just stop talking for a second so we can have a nice clean edit here. When I declare, this Jeep will be sold by springtime at the latest. Okay, now continue. So if you want to... Mark that time down.
I mean, springtime's pretty generic. I mean, should we say...
you know something? I'm going to do...
You want to give me... I don't need a day and date, but even a month.
What's the first day of spring is what?
End of March, something like that?
March 21st, probably. March, is that the solstice? According to my calendar, it's Holi, or Holly, H-O-L-I.
Oh.
You ever heard of that holiday?
No. Is that...
Don't know. It's in my calendar. Okay. How about April 1st? Can we do April 1st? Is that fair enough?
So you think by April 1st, the Jeep is gone, you're in the black?
Kyle, I do declare that by April 1st, 2019, the black Jeep will be sold. Definitely.
Wow.
There you go. Mark that down. Play that if you want.
I think you're
pull that audio clip, send it to me. I'll put it on our little button machine here.
For April 2nd and April 9th and April 16th.
Well, let's see. April 1st is that's a Monday.
Oh, so March 30th.
So March 31st when we're recording. Something we can even wait. We'll record on April 1st so we know the outcome. But, I mean, in my defense, I have until midnight so we could record in the afternoon and then it gets sold.
And then a hot sale's coming through on month 9 at 8 p.m. on a Monday.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to get you.
Yeah.
I think, and here's my thinking, Steve. I think you're a little I think you're confident about today.
I am.
I think it's misplaced.
Misplaced confidence? Misplaced confidence, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I only say that based on the previous 7 months of inaction based on anybody's idea to purchase. You've had one near sale that fell through because of insurance reasons.
Yeah.
And that is
annoying.
Is that it? Is that your nearest?
Oh, no, there's been no shortage of interest. There has been
I'm
in
not
the
talking about a
months.
bluegill taking a nibble on your worm. I'm talking about someone saying, I want this Jeep, or I'm heavily interested. Let me try to figure this paperwork out, or let me talk to the bank type of thing. Has that been the only instance of that?
No, there were a few that we thought, okay, I think this is the one. And then it was, all right, let me talk to my bank tomorrow. And then we got a message back saying, would you take this? And it was like $9,000 less than what we were asking. So there were a few that have seemed serious. In hindsight, no, they weren't. But I'm oddly confident. What would make it? Is there any scenario in which you say to me, in which the words come out of your mouth, man, that worked out pretty well for you guys?
No.
Even a profit?
No.
$5,000 profit?
No.
Really? Why?
This time frame?
But it hasn't cost. I can understand if we had been paying to store it or paying to work on it, paying insurance or something. Sure. But it has cost us, since we finished working on it, it hasn't cost us one dime. Maybe. No. I'll say about $6 in gas to get it from where it is, or where it was to where it is.
Which, that's fine. I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to compare this to.
It's just. Really?
Your original idea, which was, hey, this is a turnaround, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, nowhere in your estimation did you think it'd be, stretching into month 7 or whatever. Yeah, so you bought it in June.
But so
it's been 7 months at this point.
Yeah.
I think,
even though it's cost us nothing. Now, what if my initial statement about it was, we're going to buy this Jeep, we're going to fix it up, and hopefully sell it within the next year.
Yeah, then I'd be okay with it.
Then you're.
Yeah, but I think it's like if you flipped a house. Now, obviously, flipping a house is different because you have carryover costs and everything. Mm-hmm. But let's assume, for whatever this argument, you don't. You spend 6 weeks, you renovate a whole home, new kitchen, whatever, the works, and then you hold it for 6 months, even without paying on it. I think it's a failure. And I think, Steve, we leave that question up to our listeners this week. That's got to be the poll question. If you sell your Jeep...
I think we have to wait until the Jeep is actually sold to ask that question.
Well, I like the hypothetical, though, of saying, like, even if, even it sells or not, if you sell the Jeep this month, if you sell the Jeep today, has Second Chance Jeeps been a success?
Okay, but I think that all of it, because that question has to be worded correctly, where it includes all the variables, like... It's cost us $0 to store it for the last... Like, it hasn't cost us any money since we finished it in August.
Our listeners know that. So our listeners voting on the poll should be in the know.
Yeah, but there are plenty of people that they'll see a poll and they'll vote on it, not really, having not listened to the most recent episode.
Okay.
So I think that as long as it's worded fairly, I'm on board with that.
I'm nothing if I'm not entirely fair.
I know. I've said that about you all the many times.
That's the one thing I know, is how to be as fair as possible.
Great. So I can't wait to see that question posted on Tuesday. Hey, did the dumb dick make a dumb move?
Yeah, 90-10. Looks like I was right.
So
can't argue with the number, Steve.
All right, then that's just something that we'll have to disagree on, but that's fine. We disagree on Well, nearly everything.
And
Except, with a few exceptions, such as the greatness that is Pack Blue.
Oh, sure.
Love for Bridges, although we
digress when you start nailing down the specifics. Absolutely, Steve. Another thing.
Yeah, keyword nailing, like wood, not rivets or weld.
Yeah, nothing says drive your automobile over it like nailed wood. For God's sake, that doesn't inspire confidence. What could?
One more thing for that list.
Sure.
Bradley Cooper.
Well, the only idiot who hasn't agreed to that is Sarah Frenchie Toasty.
Oh, come on.
Just ridiculous.
Who's she like Clint Howard? Is he a dreamboat, Sarah?
Anybody like Clint Howard? Anybody looking at Clint Howard and going, let's say even you're a gold digger, Steve.
I bet he's married.
You're a 20.
He's married.
There's no question he's married, right? Because everybody has somebody, and this is being very rude to Clint Howard. It's definitely not fair to Clint Howard, who's a successful actor, but has been overshadowed by, one, his more successful brother, and two, his horrendous appearance.
He's married to a love. Oh, Clint Howard and wife separating after 22 years. Boy, hard to believe that she's breaking up with him. He has that look on his face. It's like, what's that smell?
That's the Clint Howard face. I bet you Clint Howard have a 23-year-old aspiring Instagram model in a week. But I don't even know.
I'm sure he's doing all right. What's he worth? How is Clint Howard? Not surprisingly, every time I type Clint, it autofills with Eastwood.
Obviously, the more famous.
That's surprising. Only worth $4 million.
Well, he's only been a bit actor. I mean, tell me a lead role Clint Howard's ever done, right?
Well, no, but I just figure if you're rich, everyone in your family's rich too. Like his brother is Ron Howard.
Yeah, and again, in fairness, obviously $4 million is a lot of millions of dollars, but he's a guy who's been in Hollywood for 20, 25 years.
When your brother's worth $160 million, come on, Ron.
It's almost like Clint
give him a couple bucks.
Clint should have gone directing. Ron could have stayed acting. Yet Clint stays acting. When the only time they need him is when they're doing like a Hills Have Eyes reboot. Right. He needs to play a nuclear...
scientist or something who runs up with paper saying, I was just crunching the numbers.
Either that or like a cannibal that's in a wasteland. Like those are the two Clint Howard roles. But I'm glad you brought up us agreeing on something, Steve. I have some disappointing news for you.
Oh, no.
I posted a poll this week. What is an easier game? This is obviously... We've had some real grade A debates.
And I'll tell you what, I went back and forth on this one all week long.
Sure.
Because I don't have a dog in this fight.
Right.
I'm not a skee ball player.
Sure.
I'm not a dartist. A darter.
D'Artagnan? Wait, that's a musketeer.
I think dartist.
Ah.
I mean, sure, I've played both. I think that... how was it exactly worded? What is the hardest
What is
sport?
an easier game?
What is an easier
Darts
game?
Or skee ball?
I think it's going to be darts is easier. Skee ball, I think it requires a little more motion.
I was very upset by this.
There we go.
Yes.
Up 2019.
Add it to the list. I think. Oh man.
An easy. Let's see. No, easier game. I think it's skee ball. Yeah, bigger targets.
But like we talked about,
you're always going to get points
in your life. How many times have you hit the $10,000 hole on skee ball?
Oh, the ones in the top corners. I think once, maybe.
How many times have you gotten a bullseye in darts?
Probably not much more.
But a handful of times.
Yeah, maybe.
That was the argument.
I go back and forth on it. I agree with that logic.
Right.
Right now, I'm on your side.
With a little over 220 votes, Steve.
We are asking the tough questions.
We're really nailing this down by a final tally of 71% to 29%. Our listening audience thinks skee ball is an easier game. Better then 2-1 voted against my idea that darts is the, quote, piano of games, the idiot machine of games.
So they think skee ball is easier. Yeah, I have to... I mean, I agree with that because, again, like I mentioned last week, you're always guaranteed a point unless you just don't let go of the ball and you throw it backwards over your shoulder. You're getting at least, I think the bottom rung is 10.
We got James, a friend from New York, who received one of our ornaments. Said, "Can I roll a ball down a lane, or can I swiftly toss a small pointy object 15 feet through the air and make it land inside a circle the size of a sphincter?" Hashtag skee ball is for children.
Boy, you got to, I mean, come on. You have to agree with that.
There's a competitive skee ball world championship. Anyone, Jared Cook, anyone who votes for darts needs to take a dart to the eye.
Oh, boy. I got hit with a dart once.
Really?
Yeah. My sister threw a dart at me once.
Good God, how does that even happen? And as I'm scrolling here, trying to find something, big thanks to Jesse Douglas this past week, who did clip that sound for us and tagged Dax Shepard.
Did he really?
In that sound. Did
Dax reply?
He must just be getting to it. He hasn't replied yet, so maybe today. Sure. But I was scrolling down to find Zach's fact check from this past week, because obviously we talked about darts and skee ball last week. While darts is indeed an idiot sport, so we have a colleague in that argument. Here's some rationale for the stupid backwards scoring, because that was part of the argument, was that it was an idiot's game because a bullseye only gives you 50, but a triple 20 gives you 60, triple 19. There's 6 options, I believe I said, higher than the bullseye, which makes no sense to me.
No.
The reason is
but
because...
aren't they further... They're on the middle...
They're closer to the center, so it goes bullseye, outer bullseye,
All right.
small section for single, small rectangle for triple, then the outside would be the double.
Right.
The reason is because if you miss the difficult to hit triple 20, you're stuck with 20 points. However, if you miss the difficult to hit bullseye worth 50, you still get 25 points on the outer bullseye.
Okay.
It's more of a risk to try to go for something that may result in lower numbers if you miss. That would make more sense to me if it were the same... I don't know. It would make more sense if it was the same size.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah, who knows?
Oh, that's right. I believe I called your brother Judas. He fact-checked Judas. Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Later regretted this and threw the silver back at the priest and hung himself. That is your brother, Mike.
Yeah.
It took a dark turn. You don't need to hang yourself, Mike. It's okay. You won the bet. Just remember.
I saw he shared the post on Facebook, and he said, listen to the world famous Stephen Kyle podcast where apparently they hate Springsteen and I am a traitor. Well, hard to disagree. Well, half of us hate Springsteen, and that half is not me. You watched that the Springsteen on Broadway yet?
Been a busy week.
Been a busy week.
Last on the fact check this week, I don't even remember how we got to this, but we were talking about veal loin.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why we were talking about... Oh, I think I was talking about Easter, maybe?
I don't know.
Veal loin is not part of the baby lamb Steve kills for Easter. Veal comes from cow calves. Veal butt tenders can, I'm sure, be prepared many ways. I'm sure that's up to you. Veal loins are indeed a thing.
Look at that.
So you can have veal tenders if you see so fit. So thank you to Zach for the fact check this week as well. Every week, check that out. We retweet that on the Stephen. I need to start just taking that screenshot, putting it on Facebook as well, so everybody can get that.
Yeah.
So we'll start doing that every week. But thank you to Zach for that as well. But this is something we didn't get to last week. I know. We've got a while yet. We have something in common.
We do, believe it or not, other than this stupid podcast.
But it's not something in common that two men... I'm 31. 37.
You take our ages, add them together, turn us from two people into one person, then it's common.
Maybe it makes sense. But...
a 68-year-old man should have to deal with this.
This is something...
a 31 and a 37-year-old man separately should not.
This is something that insurance, Steve, literally won't let us get a vaccine for because we're too young
by like
more than
20 years.
Yes, more than a decade before insurance would say.
I think for you are barely past the halfway point.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Like, you would have to live your life almost entirely again before you'd be old enough.
It's absurd. So we did the episode last week, and we were on some time constraints, so we didn't have a chance to talk about this. But obviously, over the holidays, which we did discuss, you visited Florida.
Yes,
you're a vacation. You're a holiday traveler now. Last year, you spent the holiday in Jamaica. This year,
Sandals, Jamaica, by the way. Sandals, Jamaica. Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you that. Like next to the Holiday Inn there.
It's an all-inclusive resort on the northern coast
of
the island of Jamaica.
Whoa. All-inclusive meaning you pay for, you like...
It's like you don't pay for anything when you're at Sandals, Jamaica. You pay that all in advance. Everything's included. What do you want to have for dinner tonight?
Pizza.
Free. What do you want to have for second dinner tonight?
French.
Free.
Huh.
What do you want for breakfast tomorrow?
I mean, obviously, Steve.
Free!
To be able to do something like that, it must be near the more impoverished section of Jamaica.
No, I already told you it's on the northern coast.
The northern coast.
So you're staring out at that beautiful blue water, looking north, looking at all the northern things.
Is there anything due north from Jamaica? Just another island?
I guess I'm not sure. I never really looked at
a lot of
map of
Caribbean citizens living in poverty just staring at you while you throw the remainder of your martini over your shoulder because you're done with it.
Didn't do that. Would never do that. Okay, directly north of Jamaica, directly north of Ocho Rios, looks like, Guantanamo. So
Steve sipping on that martini on the beach of Ocho Rios, staring north while looking out are some detained suspected terrorists.
Well, here we go. We got Ocho Rios. Okay, so it's a little northeast.
The
I
bay
guess directly north would be Manzanillo.
The Bay of Guantanamo, which I don't even know what it's known for. I mean, it must just be like a scenic, maybe some historic ruins there.
Nice place.
Suspected terrorists staring back at Steve across, 20 miles of ocean.
Well, they got the Museo Provincial, which I'm assuming is the provincial museum.
Do you think on a clear day, not a cloud in the sky,
you can see the detainees being
Guantanamo Bay detainees? They get 30 minutes of daylight every month. They come out, sunshine in their eyes. They look south. They see some idiot bearded pasty northern Yankee throwing a martini over his shoulder, and just a faint whisper in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Asking about 1 or 2 button Ryobi garage door openers.
Do I think that boy, I don't know. I'm not sure. We struggle with distances here on this show.
It's what? A couple hundred yards?
Let's see. Let me get some directions from Ocho Rios to
Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah.
That's a normal search, right? At what point does Guantanamo Bay... Now, this happens with...
Sorry, we could not calculate driving directions. Why? Come on.
This happens with...
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me select... Oh, they don't have a swim option? How about fly? Flight's not available.
You can't fly directly into Guantanamo?
No, you can't walk either. You can't drive. No public transportation.
You could find something using the measurement on the side of the Google map. Maybe hold your finger out and estimate.
Boy, I bet it's at least... hold on.
Yeah, my guess is 2 football fields.
Can I just connect the dots? What the heck? Yeah, I guess they just don't want you to know.
They don't. They really don't want you to know.
I'm gonna assume that's 300-400 miles. So probably no. I don't think
that feels a lot more than it's got to be, right?
No. Look here. I'm going off the little because this here is 20 kilometers.
20 miles.
Oh, 20. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. 20 miles. So you figure that's 20, 40, 60, 80.
I could see 200 miles. 250?
40. Yeah.
What about 200?
Yeah, we'll say 200.
So a clear day.
Zach, do your thing, man. We need, as the crow flies,
Ocho
distance.
Rios.
Yeah, which, of course, as we've learned, means 8 Rioses.
All 8 of those Rioses.
To Guantanamo Bay in Cuba.
You know what happens with like historic war sites? Like you can go visit the beach at Normandy, where obviously many people lost their lives, and even with the Vietnam. Oh, actually, I guess I don't know the Vietnam War, but with all those sites that hold like bad memories. How many years down the road? Let's if Guantanamo closed today, how many years down the road do you think until that becomes a tourist attraction? You're visiting, and you see a brochure for a guided, Jeep tour, and they bring you past or to the site.
50? 50 years?
I think 50 years.
Yeah.
Man, I don't think it's that long, Steve. I think it's 20 years. And I think you're taking a little buggy through the hills and the mountains or whatever to go see the former brick building that was used to detain suspected terrorists.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Oh, hey, they even have a marker for it on Google Maps.
Look at that. Let's see if we can zoom in far enough if we can see sadness.
I gotta tell you, that looks scenic.
Yeah. I mean, look. Look at that. That's
But we digress. As we were talking about, Steve.
By the way, look at this. I want to go to this little island here. Don't see it yet, do you? Keep looking. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
What is this? Navassa Island? It looks like an island that would be about about 3/4 of the way to Haiti.
Or 60, 70 miles from Ocho Rios there.
Yeah, from oh wow, look at that. Do you think there's anyone on that island?
Yeah, did you hear that story about the missionary who went to the
Is that the island?
No, that's near Indonesia, but still, I would never get near those based on stories like that.
Yeah, it's probably like Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh man, you could discover a species.
Yeah, I bet they have ligers there.
Just get a dinghy from the people at Sandals and just hit the water.
Got a couple gallons of gas I can take with me. Maybe a sandwich or two.
Be back tomorrow if they don't abduct me and kill me. But we digress. As we were talking about, Steve, I'm 31. You're 37. You came back from your holiday vacation in Florida. I said I had some nagging issues, and sometimes that happens with travel, though. You get a little sick, a cold. Sometimes it's the airplane air.
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
it's just the elevation, whatever. But this was a bit different for you this time.
It was. I got back day before New Year's Eve.
Sure.
And we had spent a couple of great days down in Florida. We saw my dad for a couple of days at Christmas. Spent the rest of the time laying on a beach. It was unseasonably warm, which was nice. We were expecting it to be in the high 60s the whole time based on the extended forecast.
Sure.
It ended up being it hit 80 every day we were there. So we got to go to the beach for a couple days. Awesome time. We were so unprepared because we weren't expecting it to be that nice. So we didn't bother bringing sunscreen or anything. And then when we were there, we didn't even go buy it because it was just, it's only 80. It's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
So laying on the beach, and we got back to our hotel room, and I was like, oh crap! Actually, I got a little sunburn. Had a little sunburn on my chest and back, but it wasn't anything bad. And so that kind of pretty much cleared up. It was regular sunburn, no big deal. Well, the last day of our vacation, I woke up and I had a cold. was like, oh, this sucks. So the flight back was miserable because all the pressure in my head and everything. Ugh. So woke up the next day. I just kind of had that like achy feeling all over.
Right.
But there was one spot in particular, like on my chest, that it felt like I had a really bad sunburn in one spot. Like it just had that burning tightness feeling. Oh, that's weird. Wonder what this is. Didn't really think much about it. My sunburn went away. So for the next 4 or 5 days, I still had this burning feeling on my chest. And finally one day I showed it to Annette. I was like, hey, is there anything wrong with this? Does this look normal to you? Because I'm looking at it. I couldn't see any issues whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, you got a couple red dots. Ooh, okay. All right. Let it go for a few more days like any good person would. And then finally called my doctor and said, something's wrong with me. I got to get in there. I need an appointment because I have these symptoms. They're like, all right. So I had actually had my yearly physical was scheduled for this past Friday, 2 days ago. So this is a week earlier than that, and I called them and they said, yeah, we can get you in. We don't want you to wait a week. So I went in.
It's always the worst, right? You're having issues and, hey, well, we can get you in and, I don't know,
my doctor's office is great. I could have been in there in an hour. I was there 2 hours later, but they could have taken me an hour earlier than that if I needed.
Sure.
So I get in there and they're like, okay, how's everything going? Blah, 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 this, that, and the other. What are you in here for? I explained it to him. And the woman says, have you ever had shingles? Or have you ever had chicken pox? And I was like, yeah, I had chicken pox when I was a kid. Oh, boy. You hear that?
Whoa.
Yeah, okay.
My goodness. Maybe we are making a run at 48. Or no, we need 64. Yeah, 48 doesn't help us, does it?
Can't do a bracket like that.
We'd have to do like 16 bye weeks, and I'm not drawing that disaster up.
No.
The Throaty 2 coming soon.
So anyway, back to the doctor's office. They say, have you ever had chicken pox? And I said, yes. And then the two nurses look at each other, and they kind of give the knowing nod. And they said, yeah, you probably have shingles. We'll let the doctor... determine that.
Do they immediately cover their mouths, put gloves on?
Just run.
Yeah.
Like Kool-Aid Man through the wall.
They didn't go sanitizer, but they just took like a paint scraper and tried to like just get the skin off their hands where they may have touched you.
Yeah, it was... so then the doctor came in a few minutes later. I explained it all to him. He's like, all right, well, lift up your shirt. Let me show you. Let me see where it is. I didn't even have my shirt all the way up, and he's like, yep, shingles, put it back down. So he prescribed me some 10-day medication, 5 800 milligram pills a day. Like, I mean, that's like, they're horse pills. They're ridiculous. So I took 5 of them for the last 10 days. I just finished them yesterday. Ugh. Had a follow-up appointment this past Friday, and everything's looking good at this point. It's still there, though. I mean, I still feel it, but it's getting slightly better every day.
37 now. Everybody's thinking, oh my God, how do you get shingles at 37?
Yeah, because he said to me, he's like, it's not out of the question for someone your age to get it,
right.
But typically it's people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. He said, good news is you'll probably only have it once in your life. But he did say he had a handful of patients in his 25 years who have had it 2 times, and then he has one guy who's had it 3 times.
Oh.
So dude, it's no joke.
It's no joke.
It is, God, I can't even, it's nerve pain. So anything that touches it hurts. Shirt hanging off of my body, rubbing up against it, hurts like hell. It was bad enough where when I was in Nashville last weekend, it was really difficult to stand because it went all the way around to my spine. Had a spot right on my spine that any position I was in for more than 5 minutes, it started to hurt. So I had to go between sitting, standing, laying down, like angling my body in weird ways. But luckily, the worst is behind me. But terrible. Just terrible.
It's terrible, Steve. And the only reason I can empathize with you is because as a 26-year-old man, I had shingles.
26?
26 or 27.
Wow, so you got me beat by 10 or 11 years.
It's bad. Like, and
Shingles is not a young man's game.
No,
it's an old man's game.
There's no real reason of why it comes. There's a lot of reasons it could, but there's no
stress. Stress is a big one.
Stress is a big one, and that was the case in mine. Yeah.
For me, he said stress. I was like, check. Lack of sleep, check. He said that it's not uncommon for it to come on after traveling, just because the stress. But that's all kind of stress related. So I was like, all right, there's another check.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible though. It's no joke.
I couldn't believe when you told me that, because what a weird shared experience between two people who are way too young, and it's the exact same thing like you said.
Wait. You thinking what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking?
Little spin-off podcast.
Ooh. Yeah. The Shingle Jingle?
Where each week we just perform jingles about shingles.
Duh.
See, I was thinking of maybe doing a play on words, like shingles, like the other meaning, like the roof. Nailing the shingles.
Yeah. How many listeners does a shingles chat get?
Well, it depends. Are we talking roof or the
ours
debilitating illness?
Yeah, the horrifically unpleasant and uncomfortable disease.
I bet if we recorded 1 2-hour episode where we had doctors on discussing shingles,
right,
it would get millions of downloads. Because what's the first thing you do when you're diagnosed with something? You go on the internet and you Google it. If we did our SEO right, we had some search engine optimization. People search shingles, or like shingles relief, shingles medicine, shingles cures.
Right.
Our podcast shows up, we'd be millionaires. I think we need to record the shingle jingle.
You think what puts us over the edge? 30 months of negative dollars. But what puts us over the edge is a side cast about shingles and young men and young adults.
1 season, 1 episode, $1 million.
Okay, there you have it. The newest addition to the Lispin Network. It's a Living in Style podcast network. Is
what was
the Shingles Jingle? Oh, that's my stomach. I didn't eat breakfast.
Oh my God, that needs to go in. That's in.
I think I stepped on it. But I'll try
it doesn't matter. It was clear as day. Good God.
Oh my God, I got all these timestamps. I don't know what any of them are for.
All right, so.
But I mean, so for you, like, so me at that time, I was out in public, Steve. So I was in grocery stores doing labor. So I asked the doctor, it's like, obviously this is uncomfortable, but what does that mean for work? And he asked me what I did, and I explained to him. I said, well, if you came into contact with pregnant women or children, it could be very, very bad. Oh, okay. I said, well, here's what I do, and I can't control who's in a grocery store, and I can't control who is near me or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then you can't go to work for like a week.
Yeah.
You obviously not the same for you, but did you get any other warnings? Like, hey,
he did, yeah, because the first thing he said is, okay, are you married? Yeah. Is your wife pregnant? No. Okay. Well, he basically said to me, he said, because I asked him, I was like, is it contagious? And he said it is, but it's typically only contagious if people come in direct contact with it.
Right. Okay.
Which is what he told me. So he just recommended, he's like, look, I know it sucks, but for the next week or so, try not to have a lot of direct contact with your wife or your people you work with, or sleep with a shirt on.
Right.
He's like, even if you sleep with the shirt off, they're not going to jump off of you. It's not like the little shingles critters are gonna run across the bed and attach themselves to your wife.
Yeah, it's not cooties.
No, but so yeah, Annette has kept her distance from me for a while, but at this point,
no problem for her. I'm certain.
No, it's yeah, really.
More than okay with that decision.
Essentially, life has been exactly the same. Yeah.
Except for the discomfort along your side.
Yeah, my wife is grossed out by me and keeps her distance. Oh, okay, it's Tuesday. No different than...
the day of the week here. Just
yeah, exactly.
Standard protocol in the Steve and Annette house.
So back to the newest addition to the Steve and Kyle podcast, Living in Style podcast network.
The Lispin.
The Shingles Jingle.
The Shingles Jingle.
So your wife works in the medical field.
Yes.
No doubt friends with many, many doctors and nurses and medical professionals. So she can be our guest booker, right?
Oh, sure.
She can get us some...
Get some people who know what they're talking about with shingles. You and I just sit back and nod our heads and go, yeah, but what does it itch?
Do you think they'll come here to the studio to record?
Oh, certainly.
You think they'll wear their white coats?
Well, we're going to make them.
Okay.
A bunch of clicky pens in their pocket.
Yeah. Maybe
disapproving.
Wear the glasses on the end of their nose.
Just like either
we need a chart. Can you bring a chart?
That's what I mean. Either a clipboard or like a manila folder with some papers in it where he just looks at it and we try to read his facial expression if it's good or bad or indifferent.
Yeah, because I think that probably would be a violation of HIPAA laws if he brought in actual charts.
Yeah, not a person's.
Look at this loser.
Yeah.
Look at all the problems he has.
Boy, you're not going to believe the maladies this moron had.
All right. Look for it where you download podcasts in the next couple weeks. The Shingles Jingles. Shingles Jingles.
Do you think, with all of our side casts and ideas we've had, Steve...
Wait a minute. I just thought of a new title for it. It's just called So You've Got Shingles. Now What?
Ooh. It's almost like not a warning, but it's like somebody who's searching, like, how do I deal with shingles? Yeah. We use the words you were using to get up on the Google results.
That's SEO.
SEO, everybody knows that. Search engine optimization.
Let's just call the podcast what you would Google, what I Googled. Like, what do you do if you have shingles? Yeah. That's the name of the podcast.
Ooh. Oh, hey, this is a quick listen. It says there's a doctor on there. Mm-hmm. And it's you and I just saying, yeah, it's really bad. Yeah. What'd you do?
Calamine lotion. What about you?
Water. And itching.
I put a rag on it. I was actually really good. I barely itched at all.
Oh, good.
I mean, I wanted to, but, yeah, just the cold compress, which was really stupid because I had it basically all around me from my chest back to my back.
Right.
So I wanted to put a cold compress on it. So I took a cold wet washcloth.
Right.
Laid it down on a bed, laid on it. Annette put another one on my back, and then we just wrapped me like mummy style with an ace bandage. Didn't really work that well, but...
Well, as everybody knows, shingles only appears on one half of your body.
I did not know that until they told me. I was
really?
Like, what the... He said, yeah, it's going to go from your chest to your spine. Like, it's going to wrap around, and it's going to be 4 or 5 inches wide.
Isn't that crazy?
What the hell is this mutant disease?
Absolutely insane to think about, but... you and I, we're survivors.
We are. What color is our ribbon?
It's like brown being used.
Or it's like a blotchy red.
Yeah.
Like how... I don't know if colors can look irritated, but if we can find like an irritated red blotchy color ribbon.
I think that makes the most sense, obviously, for what we're describing. But yeah, Steve and I, you're just two guys running a podcast, just a couple survivors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to the support groups, shingle support. It's it's tough, But hey, what do I do? What do I do, Kyle? Get up every day, kick my feet out of that bed, and I go on.
I think we could make the circuit. You think you and I could, be those people that kids are forced to file into their gymnasium for twice a year, sit there, and it's always some guy who, did prison time or whatever, and he tells them about how you shouldn't bully or something stupid.
Yeah, Scared Straight type program.
Yeah, but less aggressive. And then he hawks a book at the end where it's like, oh, you can... This is my self-bound book called Reaching for the Stars. Pick it up after the assembly.
Reaching for scratching the scabs. That's our book.
But we
gotta write a book. So we have to write a book too.
Well, if we want to sell some merch on the road.
Oh, we have merch now.
Well, we gotta. I mean,
so
how
the shirt's just gonna have like irritated blotchy marks on it.
Yeah, and then #survivor.
Okay, and then our intro song when we come out, like our hype video, is going to be "I'm a Survivor."
Yeah, or just any song by Survivor.
Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop.
I think you and I hit the circuit, and I think
we hit the shingles circuit.
We hit the shingles circuit because, I'm pretty confident in saying we're the first ones on it, so we're making the circuit. I think we could go to some retirement communities and preach about the trials and tribulations of shingles and how to be aware, and maybe we could even get that drug company who hawks the overly expensive vaccine to sponsor us, because that's what we're shilling. Hey, you're looking at two strapping young men.
Yeah, we have to do it. Like, one of us has to be kind of like the straight man, and then the other one has to be like the reformed convict, but still talks like he's in prison. Like, hey,
Ernie, eyes up! Important conversation.
I'm talking about my time with the Scratchies. You're over there drooling in your pudding.
Bingo's tomorrow. You all know this. But yeah, whatever company that's charging, an absurd amount for those for that vaccine, they pay us a few bucks, send us out to these communities. You and I say, now I know what you're thinking. These two young men could never have shingles, and then you and I just hold two photos that aren't of us because we didn't take pictures of it, just from Google. They're not going to know.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we make one like a black man.
Or we do it like they do in those hair restoration commercials where it's like, here's the before, here's the after, and it's obviously not the same person.
Yeah, but I want it to be like an African American male.
Mine will be a woman.
Yeah, and yours is a woman with like a bra. Like you can see the bottom of a bra or whatever. And
I lost a lot of weight since then. Since my time with the Scratchies.
We go on and we tell them about our experience and how wise it would be in their old age to get this vaccine that Medicare and Medicaid or whatever old people use will absolutely cover.
Yeah.
If they just go to their local medical consultant. Oh, and look right here. It's this other pretty young lady who works for Big Drug RX.
Steve Kyle Corp.
Here to sign you up.
Oh, do you think we can make our own? Like, can we make a generic and then undercut the...
Whoa. Come on. Whoa. Us hitting the shingle circuit is one thing, Steve, but don't be unrealistic. Okay? You're sounding stupid.
So we can't make our own drugs?
We can try. You got you throw some Windex in a capsule or
bleach.
Essentially distributing meth now. That's where we're at.
Sell it from an RV.
We're accidentally selling pill capsule pipe bombs now, apparently.
Look, a lot of details have to be worked out, but I think it could work.
Maybe we do an AMA, Steve, you and me. Hashtag survivors. We both had shingles before.
You know something? Should. I bet we'd get a lot of questions.
Oh, we'd get questions. There's no question about that. We're running a bit tight on time, but I did want to bring one thing up to you because this is, man, I know it's after Christmas, but this is the reality of the situation, Steve. 'Tis the season. And when I say 'tis the season, I mean it's the season for shark attacks.
Boy, is it.
My God, we talked a couple of weeks ago. Your death visit to Death Bay down there. Some of the locals call it Death Bay. All the other travelers call it the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Again, and you've downgraded an entire Gulf.
Yeah. No. I have not. I just told you what I heard. All the scuttlebutt at the local water cooler at the local watering hole.
So you were down there.
I was down there. This was a ways back, a couple of years ago. And
a couple of years ago.
Well, do you think the name Death Bay happened overnight? No, the locals have been talking about this for years, Steve. And I heard a bunch of people mention that, old Jimmy went out into Death Bay and sure enough hasn't made it back. So that is what the locals refer to the Gulf of Mexico. It's only idiot travelers like you who are, walking down on the beach and wide-eyed and bushy-tailed staring at the water going, oh, look at the Gulf of Mexico. It looks so warm. They know. You don't go in there. But this past week takes the cake because It's the time of year where a lot of people, it's off season for us, but which makes this destination a popular place to go to right now.
Yeah.
And that is Hawaii. Now, I know you've dismissed some of my concerns about shark attacks and stuff in the past.
Yes.
This one, I mean, come on.
This one got to me a bit.
Because the video and the images are, in their own right, terrifying.
Yeah, now you had sent me, I usually make it a point, you'll send me an email the night before we record the podcast that'll have the intro on it, a couple things you want to talk about, maybe a link here or there.
Yeah.
And I always make it a point to not look at it because I want to be...
Right, sometimes, yeah.
Like, but I'll see that you sent a link and don't look at it, don't click on it. Well, I also found one this week. So then I paste them all into a document that we have up on our screen here so we can both see them. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh boy, it looks like it's got a lot of the same, not from the same source, but
almost identical.
Great white shark, huge,
deep blue.
Yeah, I think we may have landed on the same story here.
Yeah.
This shark is pretty big.
This shark is so famous and so well known in the shark community, Steve. The Sharkies is what we call ourselves. That
Sharkies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Sharky, I'm a Minty, and I'm a Starlet. Okay. Three things.
What's your Starlet name again?
Jackson May I. It's essentially me asking
right. Yeah.
if I could fornicate
with the man.
With Jackson. And yours is
Jackson Maine Squeeze.
Jackson Maine Squeeze, obviously both of us grown men pining for romantic interest in Bradley Cooper's character Jackson Maine. But the Sharkies know this. Deep Blue, which is the shark in this video and these images, Steve, has its own Twitter.
The shark's name is Deep Blue? Okay, I didn't know that.
Another reason it has a Twitter of its own is because it's the largest great white shark on record.
Is there any audio for this, or is it just like
I don't know? You have to understand that I was terrified.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, meet Deep Blue. I'm not even going to bother playing the audio for this because
it's unnecessary.
She's believed to be one of the largest great white sharks in the world at 20 feet. Okay, that doesn't seem that. I don't know. 20 feet. I just feel like.
Well, think of this room. How long is this room, Steve?
Roughly 20 feet, I bet. That's
a shark this long.
I know, but I think that when I think sharks, I don't know. I want them to be bigger.
Well, you're thinking like Jaws, which the mechanical shark they built for Jaws, I think, was 25 feet, and the book was like 30 feet. But 20 feet.
That's a shark. Like this is a guppy.
Well, and the Megalodon was obviously much bigger before that went extinct, but 20 feet.
Didn't they also say that this thing is 8 feet wide?
That I don't know about. They said, I know this, so we're obviously
that seems like it would be
playing.
Way out of proportion.
Yeah, that's like a cinder block. But 20 feet long, right. Rolling through the water, right?
Okay.
They did say that it looked like she had been feeding for a while, which she had. The reason they found Deep Blue, Steve, is because they found a sperm whale carcass that had, they kind of turn upside down when they die for whatever reason, and sharks feed on the blubber and the fat. So she was extra, like, plump, like extra full.
Yeah.
But this, Steve, taken off the coast of Hawaii.
Okay.
Like, at this point, I don't even need a scatter plot. I appreciate what Nikki did.
I've never been to Hawaii, but you have, which means you've been closer to death than me.
Oh, not true. This report from Death Bay 2 weeks ago had a shark pinging, 300 feet off of a buoy or something stupid.
I really don't trust your plot points after the whole Melbourne, Australia, Melbourne, Florida.
Whoa, that was a simple misreading error. What is the... I mean, that is rude.
Well, the fact that you couldn't put the pieces together and think that it was impossible for a shark to swim around the planet.
What was that, a couple hundred... Well, now you take the short way around the dark side of Earth, right?
Right.
And
I took the tunnel.
You take the underground, the underground railroad. the Shark Railroad.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They made it there pretty quick.
So the shark got out of the ocean, got in a train car.
Well, no, Underground Railroad is obviously a metaphor. So this is it's like the jet stream, but for the ocean. You know, I'm just saying, it wasn't out of the realm of possibility.
Zach, if you could.
He already fact checked it. We don't need to rehash it.
Yeah, I want to learn more about this.
She would have needed
this Underground Railroad jet stream.
Oh, that part
for oceans.
Yeah, I bet you. Listen, I'll say it right now, and you can isolate this if you feel like it. The ocean has a jet stream that makes you go. That you can go faster if you get in it. Like if you and I are swimming, you and I are in the ocean, we're swimming, and all of a sudden, whoa, you feel like a little kick in the rear. I think you hit the jet stream of the ocean.
I'm not going to argue 100%.
Do you think this podcast is more interesting before we were both afraid of being made wrong?
I feel like there's something to that.
There has to be. Listen, currents exist.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
So your proof is currents exist. Yeah. Therefore, there's a water ocean jet stream.
I mean, nobody knows what the tide does.
No, I think they pretty much do. They got that pretty well figured out.
Anything happened, by the moon. Is it really real? Like, come on.
Are you now asking if the moon is real?
No, but they're like, oh, the moon controls the tide or whatever. Isn't that a thing? Like
yeah,
okay. Big boulder in the sky, and that's controlling what my water does in a lake. Okay.
Well, I think it wouldn't control a lake.
We had I don't. This is insane, and I promise you this.
Tides don't affect lakes, right?
Hang on, because I promise you this wasn't planned. My wife and I, my beautiful wife, and I had a debate. Because I don't know. We were talking about tides. Oh, we were watching Planet Earth, Steve. That's why. And, you see the water line on the shore. Do tides affect lakes? Because I didn't think they did.
Tides are the periodic rise and fall of a body of water produced by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun. The same astronomical forces that work on the oceans work on all bodies of water, including
a cup of water,
such as Lake Michigan.
So a cup of water, Steve?
I don't know.
You're going to try to tell me that because I'm a Pisces and this star next to a moon says I'm going to have good fortune next week, that's controlling the water?
I don't know if I'd loop all those things together.
Wow. You believe in tides being controlled by the moon. You're just as crazy as the people reading horoscopes.
There you have it. Our facts that can't really be proven segment of the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Deep blue, though, 20 feet. But the most amazing thing, and we could post this link as well. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen it, obviously. Well, somebody sent it to us as well on Twitter. Yeah. This idiot jumps out and is swimming with this great white shark. Free, not in a cage.
Yeah.
Grabbing onto its fins, which, by the way, kind of feels like not cool.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like a shark hopping on my back as I was walking down the street.
Yeah, and it's and this is probably the same guy arguing against whatever camel rides at the zoo, things like that's not right. Yeah. Well, is this right? But needless to say, the video is extraordinary, and if sharks can actually smell fear, like the claim is, how are you not defecating and urinating when that thing's near you? 20 feet, Steve. That could destroy a small boat if it wanted to. Like if it breached the water and landed on it, whatever, it could destroy a small boat.
How do you think that? Let's see, because I'm looking at it. We got a good shot of it right now, a freeze frame of the person holding on to its. I believe that's the dorsal fin.
Majestic animal,
the one right on the back. So that thing couldn't eat a person in one bite, right?
No, but I feel like
it would take a couple.
Now you're talking lengthwise, so height-wise?
Like it could bite a person in half, I think, in one bite.
Oh, there's no doubt. But I think you're probably right. Like let's call it a 5'7" person. I think if it comes underneath you or around, the lengthwise.
I'm thinking like I'm thinking if they're swimming at each other head on.
Mm-hmm. And the shark opened its mouth or chomped.
Shark opens its mouth. Okay, it's easily getting the head.
Oh, yeah.
I bet it's getting head and shoulders.
One bite?
In one bite.
I think you're right.
I mean, it's going to have to do that thing.
Yeah, it's gonna start shredding, and then it's gonna carry it. I know sharks, when they do that, they start carrying it deep. That's where they want to take their meals, and that's what this person should have been. Something you ever do? Wildest dream
swim with sharks?
ever?
I might do the cage.
You think you'd do a cage?
I think I'd do the cage. I don't know, but my opinions have greatly changed about zoos and animal enclosures, especially since we were in on our honeymoon, Sandals, Ocho Rios, Jamaica,
Northern Shore,
Northern Coast. Yeah, and they went to we were on like one of those little like booze cruise type things, and they docked for a few minutes at some like dolphin enclosure thing where you can swim with the dolphins, and that was always something where I was like, man, I'd love to do that. And then I sat there and I was really sad watching those poor things in this little pen the size of this room just swimming around, and I was like,
I feel like those are a little bit different, like than because obviously they can't really contain,
I don't think so,
a group of sharks. That's why I don't even think they guarantee if you go out to see sharks, because legally I don't think they can chum the waters.
It's one thing if you're whale watching. I'm cool with whale watching.
Right.
They just go to spots where there are known whale sightings.
Sure. But the dolphin thing is weird. But let's say
dolphin thing's weird. I don't think I want to interact with any animal that's in an enclosure.
But let's say they're going to bring you out
against his will.
Oh yeah. Say you're going to take a 30-minute boat ride. Put you down in a cage. This is a spot known for sharks. They can't chum the waters, but they can do whatever voodoo they can to get them there. Are you?
So you're at the mercy of. There may be sharks. There may not be sharks.
Sure.
This is the Wild West. I think so. I think
you're gonna be picky. Like they're gonna not picky, but they say, hey, there's bull sharks, or hey, there's sand sharks or tiger sharks.
No, because I'm not going to know the difference between them.
But what if they tell you, like, yeah, there's a spot known for great white sharks? Does that hold you up at all?
Yeah.
Like that changes it a tiny bit, right? Because the great white shark, even though they're
no. I mean, I'll have to inspect the cage first to make sure, because there's that famous video that went viral of people were in, or there was one guy, he was in one of those cages right off the. I don't know if it was off of a boat or like right off of a dock somewhere.
Sure.
But he's in the cage, and the shark leapt up out of the water and went whoop right into the cage.
Yeah.
And was in the cage with the guy.
Awful. Just like, and they go crazy because the only thing that they roll, they spin and they shake, and their skin is like sandpaper. Like that is the most dangerous spot to be in. Yeah.
And then somehow the shark managed to then jump back out of the thing. And the guy survived, and he was fine. But yeah, I'm gonna need to know that cage isn't gonna collapse, or that the shark's not gonna grab onto a cable and pull me down into the depths where all of its other hungry shark friends are waiting.
They're all waiting. This one guy said, "I bet you I can go up there and get an idiot."
Yeah, and like I go down there, and sharks actually have napkins tied around their neck and a fork and knife in each hand.
And Frank the shark is now the hero because he brought idiot Steve down, who's just sitting there with his scuba gear.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't blame you.
But I think I'd do. I think I'd swim with them. Well, be in a cage with them, not swim with them.
Hey, better you than I.
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, first on my list for the Fast Five, which is all from last week, but looks like all of them are still pretty relevant. Government shutdown.
Going smooth, man. Nothing could go wrong. They said this might lead to recession. No big deal.
No problem at all. Next, Maroon 5.
Boy, I haven't watched one in years, but I have a hot take on this. We'll come back.
On the Super Bowl halftime show performance
hot
by
take.
Maroon. Okay, coming up in just a couple weeks. Shingles.
Unknowingly devastating. Feel for you.
Keep an eye out for Shingles Jingles coming to the podcast apps in just a matter of...
I think we make it a podcast, and we're taking this thing on tour. Tell your grandmother. We're coming.
We're coming to see her at the old folks' home. NFL playoffs is next.
Been a bit of a dull playoff so far. Hopefully the championship games change that.
And finally, R. Kelly.
Yeah, what a weird slow burn this has been. Kind of
Sony
surprising.
dropped him, right?
Sony officially dropped him. That's the latest shoe to drop. But the fact that it took a Lifetime docuseries as well as reports over the years, and obviously a lawsuit years ago, and two lawsuits. I mean, he had the lawsuit, I believe it was 2004, that accused him of like urinating on it was really weird. I
thought it was actually earlier than that, wasn't it?
It may have been. But the fact that he has still remained in the public eye and with really no repercussions since then,
especially in a Me Too era.
Yeah, but that's what spurred it.
Yeah, it's extremely surprising that he wasn't like one of the first ones to just be completely devastated by that whole thing because the Me Too, I guess the beginning of the Me Too era. A year and a half ago, probably. It's weird to put a timeline on.
But the Weinstein stuff, right?
Yeah,
I don't know when that began, but I think you're probably right. A year and a half ago.
Yeah, but very strange that he's managed to hold on to his career for as long as he has.
I mean, and it sounds like this was widespread, Steve.
Yeah,
not good at all.
Mm-mm.
So. Good to see some repercussions happening for it, even though it's realistically 20 years too late. And this all began in the 90s. I mean, it's pretty well out there now that he married 15-year-old Aaliyah back in the 90s, and that got totally swept under the rug, and it was annulled shortly thereafter. But I think the public mostly agrees that he was essentially being a predator to Aaliyah when she was on his song back in the 90s.
Yeah, definitely. Before that, the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, not been very fun or great games. There's been a few here or there, but the NFC Championship and AFC Championship are this weekend. By the time you're hearing this, they'll already be done, so it's not really relevant. But two really good games lined up with the four highest scoring offenses in football, Steve, so that should be a good recipe for fun.
I was really devastated to watch the end of the Eagles-Saints game last week.
Oh, yeah, with the dropped pass.
Sad.
Oh, just what a way to go out. Like
I know.
That to lose in a blow. I'd rather lose in a blowout, right?
Because if he catches that ball, they're at about the 20, maybe 22-yard line.
Yeah, they're in range.
With 1:55 left on the clock.
Plenty of time.
Nick Foles gonna do it again. I'm sitting there on the couch. I'm like, this guy's gonna do it again. This is gonna be incredible. If they win this game, they're in the NFC Championship game after having a terrible season,
and a 9-7
season, barely making the playoffs. Yeah, I was really disappointed to watch that, but oh well.
Because at that point, anything can happen, Steve. 9-7, the New York Giants won 2 Super Bowls with that record, very same record going into the playoffs. So, yeah, bad way for the Eagles to end. It's too bad your brother bet against them.
Yeah, I mean, some would say that that it affected the outcome.
I sure hope the 30 pieces of silver were worth it, Judas.
Before that, we had shingles. The debilitating old man illness that we're both suffering from.
Yeah, Steve and I have shared geriatric disease experience we can talk about later on in our lives when we're both nearing death.
Telling you, once again, shingles is not a young man's game.
No, it's not. I don't know how old people deal with it, though, because, my gosh, was that uncomfortable.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was one of the most devastating things I've ever dealt with.
Hurts.
Maroon 5.
Yeah, I got. It's a less of a hot take on Maroon 5, but it's more of a hot take on the Super Bowl halftime show in general, because... and I was going to save this for Twitter because I usually stew on my hot takes for a while before I unleash them.
Oh, so are we getting a preview? Or are we getting...
this? You know what? I'll make this one a podcast exclusive, Steve. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you have notifications turned on for my Twitter account, Steve. But I dropped a hot take on there earlier this week.
Don't have those notifications turned on.
I should do that. I don't know if you... But I dropped a hot take on there earlier this week that might surprise you. But... here's my question. When or what would it take to make people happy with a Super Bowl halftime show? Because it feels like the music snobs are going to be music snobs. So, unless it's, the National with an opening act of, garbage, pale children. like the new alternative band. Like they're just
Garbage Pail, not Garbage Pail Kids.
No, the Garbage Pail Children. But like, I don't know what it's going to take to make that section of people happy, because I don't care if you like Maroon 5 or not. That's not my thing to tell you. They're okay. They have a lot of hit songs, though.
Sure.
A ton of hit songs.
Very successful group. I don't know. Not if Maroon 5 announced today that they were retiring and never performing again, zero consequences for me.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I know, but you can't deny that they're a massive musical act. Adam Levine is more popular than ever, yet people complain.
Now he's on, what's the show he's on? The Voice, right?
The Voice.
Okay.
More popular than ever. But then what's the instant reaction when they officially announce Maroon 5? Oh, Maroon 5 sucks. Who wants to hear Maroon 5? Yeah. I just don't know what people want. They've gone through everything. They've had U2 people complain.
Yeah,
they had Prince.
They've had rock. They've had pop, country, soul. Like montages of 50 different groups performing at the same time. I don't know. To me, the whole idea of the Super Bowl halftime show, it's silly and outdated.
Well, it's antiquated.
Yeah. I don't know. Figure out something new, something new to do.
But you have an audience.
They won't. They're not going to.
Right, because you have an audience of 100 million.
Yeah.
So that's a lucrative thing for any musical act, the biggest musical act in the world.
No, they should do like a town hall meeting discussing the
CTE.
Yeah.
Have a real sit down. I mean,
go totally political with it. Like they just have a couple candidates come out and just debate and see what their reaction is. I bet you'd get you'd retain a lot of that audience.
I feel like the Super Bowl halftime show is the equivalent of hosting the Oscars or whatever. There's no upside.
No.
Look at Katy Perry. Katy Perry gets announced a few years ago, and Katy Perry can't sing. Katy Perry sucks. She's only whatever because she's pretty. Mm-hmm. And then what's the only thing remembered about Katy Perry's performance at the halftime show, Steve?
Oh, the Sharks.
The Shark.
Yeah.
Left Shark.
Left Shark, yeah.
There's no upside.
Remember, what did Left Shark do?
He just didn't know the dance move, so he was just like shaking and looking like an idiot. I don't understand it, but the people that make me the most aggravated, instead of just going, okay, Maroon 5 is a big band, who cares? They're all, they suck. Like, I just don't understand. I need to know, and if you're one of those people who have said this or tweeted about it or whatever, please let me know. What would it take to make your Super Bowl halftime show musical act, because let's assume they're not going to change it, worthy of your time?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Boom, hot take.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
Boom, hot take.
We're a little tight on time, but I was going to give you the
hashtag my halftime show.
Yeah.
Let us know what your ideal halftime show is.
If we weren't tight on time, I'd give you the hot take I unleashed on Twitter this week, but you're going to have to go to my Twitter account to find that. I'm sorry. You're the one with a deadline. We got to go.
I just don't want to look at your Twitter.
You should. This is a good take. This is a good take.
Yeah.
I think I got you on board.
All right, let me hear it.
Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Okay. In the movie Billy Madison.
All right. So you're talking about the character himself from the movie
is actually the villain.
I'm going to need more than that. So
tell me, hear me this. The whole movie.
In the movie, he's gone back to school so he can. What's the plot of it? Like if he graduates high school,
Dad's retiring. He needs to.
He'll take over the company.
Correct.
His dad is a
hotel guy. Yeah. So let's talk about Billy Madison's character here for a moment, and we can end up just dumping my Fast Five in lieu of this because now I'm all bothered. So Billy Madison, by all intents and purposes, is a screw up. The main opening scene is him drunk and or high on drugs around the pool with Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald.
Is it Artie Lang?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Artie Lang. Yeah.
Wow. Boy, and Artie.
Rough go.
Get yourself together.
The guy's a screw up.
Definitely, yeah.
But my main point, the only reason I even thought about this was, one of the big points in the film is, the overarching theme is Billy Madison helping this kid who's an outsider, moving through school with him, being a friend to him. This kid, he pees his pants. He said, hey, peeing my pants is cool. And the Adam Sandler voice from the 90s.
Peeing my pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis.
Yeah. And so he fake pees on his pants, makes him cool. And everybody remembers that. And you know what people don't remember, Steve, is the time in the classroom he made fun of a child who had a stuttering issue.
Yeah, that's true. Today, Junior.
Funny. Laughs abound in the 90s. Did stuttering kids laugh at that? Probably not. Point 2.
Okay.
Let's talk about this whole idea that the dad even is considering Billy to take over his hotel empire.
Ridiculous.
Now, a lot of people have an issue with the Trumps and nepotism. Let's talk about nepotism. You've got Eric, played by the lovely Bradley Whitford in Billy Madison. This guy's been grinding for years at the Madison Hotel Empire, waiting. He's being groomed. He's a highly successful employee, just working his way up the ladder for sure. He is in the line of succession. Mm-hmm. This man is due a promotion. Mm-hmm. And what happens? He's about to be an underling, Steve, to the moron Billy Madison, who has a GED at age 35. It's ridiculous. He's the villain. He doesn't deserve the job. He definitely doesn't. He's a drunk idiot who falls in love with a teacher. We haven't even gotten to that plot point.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Boy, look at that.
Why is the teacher absolved? She's having sex with a student. I don't care how old he is. Abuse of power, for God's sake. That idiot, because he gets a GED, deserves a hotel empire. Give him an inheritance and move on. Eric deserves the company. Hashtag Team Eric. What take on a movie at 23 years old? Stupid.
No, keep going.
That's all I got.
No, I want you to get back. No, come on. There's got to be another point that you want to make.
He's getting special treatment, for God's sake. Somebody explain to me how in all of this empire, right? Hotels, millions of dollars. This old fool looks out his window, sees his high, drunk son with his 2 moron friends sitting around a pool seeing a fake frickin' penguin and thinks, oh yeah, that's the heir to the throne. That right there needs to take over. Not this man who has a master's degree, who has proven intelligence, but no, he tells a funny puppy story at this big debate. He deserves a company, okay? No, you know what? Eric should have shot him. I stand by it.
All right.
It's so stupid.
You can download, subscribe, and review the show on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Libsyn, StephenKyle.com, StephenKyle.com/merch.
Spotify.
If you want to pick up... Oh, yeah, on Spotify now. Did we figure out iHeart yet?
No, it should be. I don't know if it's on there yet, but yeah, we'll talk more about it next week. But we are, if you listen to Spotify or use Spotify, just search for the Stephen Kyle Podcast.
Awesome. You can find us on Twitter at Stephen Kyle, Facebook.com/Stephen Kyle. Also, Instagram, Steve and Kyle. I'm actually just shot a video right there during Kyle's rant that will probably be our first Instagram post.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to look us up on Instagram, we will do our best to update that. That's just about it. We will talk to you next week. We'll have, I think, a Billboard update next week.
Yeah, it was ready this week, but we got a bit sidetracked.
Yeah. So we'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.